Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Untrivial Podcast. My name is Allie Nelson. If you are listening to this the day it goes live, Merry Christmas Eve if you celebrate. I am super happy to be in the holiday spirit. I am up north with my husband and his family that we're going to be celebrating Christmas tomorrow. And I'm just so excited to relax and get connected at this time of year. And so I hope you have a little bit of time that you get to spend with people you care about and just enjoy the holiday time and New Year's and all of that. Obviously, we're coming up on the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025. And so this episode will be a little bit of a year in review and also, thinking about 2025 and how to really go after your goals, your dreams. I'll talk a little bit about what I do, but really just thinking back on the year that this was and what's ahead. So when I think about 2024, so much happened this year for me. I made the official decision that I was going to start a podcast actually at the end of 2023, but 2024 was really the year of that execution, interviewing people, launching, iterating, pitching myself to potential guests, and it really becoming real, I guess. And it actually has become such a lovely creative pursuit that I have fallen in love with this year. We've done 23 episodes, including this one from April to December in the year of 2024. Obviously, I took a 3-month break when I had my son, but yeah, I'm still really, really happy to celebrate all of what came together. It's funny, you guys probably have like Spotify Wrapped and your year in review, and everyone looks at that. They actually have Spotify Wrapped for creators as well, and so you can see kind of how your show performed and like the top things and things like that. And so I took a look at my year in review and I'm going to share the top 3 episodes. If you're new to the show, check these out because these are the ones that everyone loved the most. Okay, so the number 1 episode was episode 14, How to Process Emotions with Somatic Movement with Manuela Mitovova. The second most popular episode was episode 20 with Steph Curry, Saying Yes to Adventure, Trusting Your Gut, and Her Journey in Wellness. The third most popular was number 13, so The Benefits of Spirituality Without an Inauthentic Belief System with Brittany Hartley. Number 4 was episode 10, Eccentrics Workouts and the Science and Importance of Proper Muscle Engagement with Gail Garceau. And then the 5th most popular episode was episode number 2, A Naturopathic Approach to Wellness and Women's Health with Dr. Madeline Clark. So if you're new to the show, these are the most popular episodes that everyone's been loving so far. So I highly encourage you to check those out if you're curious. The Wrapped is really cool too. You can kind of see where people are listening. And so I was so surprised to see that we have listeners in 32 countries. So hello, hi from wherever you are. There's been thousands of streams. And I just wanted to start by saying thank you so much for listening. Anyone who's listened to the show, given it a follow, shared with a friend. I really, really appreciate it. I'm so grateful for your listenership and just really excited to do more and try harder next year. And hopefully by the end of 2025, we have some really cool data points to compare with this year. So thank you again. The biggest lesson I've learned from doing this show that I think would be helpful for people out there is that you do not have to have it all figured out to start. This isn't my full-time job. It's not like I have a million resources to start with. Like I don't have a full studio or all the equipment or a team or anything like that. And I just love that with the internet, there are so many things with such a low barrier to entry. What you need to get started, like actually get started, is probably a lot less than you think. Whatever your pursuit is, whatever you're thinking about when I say there's something that I think, maybe you want to take the plunge on that you haven't yet. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exceptional. It just has to be. It has to exist. And from there, you can iterate, right? Like you learn as you go, as you move through it. I've iterated my design, my software, my strategy already so many times, and I'm literally just getting started. And that's okay because I think it's getting 1% better each day. And that's all I can really hope for. I think so many people have goals that maybe they let fly by them because they don't want to be bad at something in front of other people, which I totally get. It takes courage to put yourself out there when you are in the learning stage of something. and when you're not an expert yet. But with a lot of things, that's actually the only way you learn. So for me, you, if you have a goal, if you have an idea, if you have a dream, but you are hesitating because you don't want to look silly or you know it won't be perfect the first day, stop doubting yourself. Embrace, I'm going to quote Tess Barclay. She's an influencer who is big in the content creation space, but embrace the cringe, embrace being cringy. There is an element to that, and embrace being clumsy and finding your balance. And you have no idea where you'll be even just by next year if you kept going and you put yourself out there. So I love that New Year's is almost like a collective reset. Like everybody is excited to get motivated, start on goals, a fresh start. And so here is my words of encouragement from me to you. Start that thing. If it's a business, if it's posting on TikTok, if it's, going after a new job or starting your art, whatever you want to do, go for it, because we really only have this one life. And so if you don't start today, when are you going to do it? Of course, the other super life altering thing that happened this year is I had my son. I had a baby. And it taught me so much. And I already kind of shared a little bit in my last solo episode, a lot of what I've learned about motherhood and pregnancy. But I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned, even just in the last couple of weeks, is that everything on my to-do list getting done for the day is no longer the goal. And quite frankly, it's no longer realistic. There will always be a load of laundry. There is always going to be a mirror that needs cleaning. There will always be a day where I don't find the time to get ready or have a full cup of coffee or a hot cup of coffee. And that's my new normal now. And that's okay, because the things that matter most always get done. I always cuddle my son. I always make sure he and I are fed. I always make sure we get outside each day if it's not -15. I make sure I kiss my husband when he gets home. And so reframing for me what a successful day is really based on what's most important that day. Not even in life, just that day. And that's really helped me feel like I've accomplished what I needed to do. That might be for you rest one day. It might be a long call with your friend or a long walk or a face mask. Like whatever it is you just knew mattered that day. I think that's how I'm viewing things, and that's what I'm treating as a win. So even if you have a laundry list of items to do, if you got the 3 most important things done, and again, it might not even be what was on that list in the first place. Maybe it was rest. Maybe it was cooking yourself a really nice meal. Whatever it was, I hope this year you can find a sense of accomplishment in the everyday, even if that day is not perfectly checking off every single item that you had in mind. This year, I also went back to school after 10 years, like a literal decade out of school. I graduated in 2014 from university or college if you're American. In a lot of ways, going back to school and like being in school mode has made me feel really nostalgic to that time. But it's also more difficult in other ways. But the great thing about coming back into school this time around is what I'm studying is really, really aligned with what I'm interested in. And I think when you're younger, I think a lot of people go to post-secondary school because they feel like, oh, it's what you do, without a really clear idea of what they even want to do with their life or what they want to study. So, like, at least for myself, I generally knew I liked working with people. I figured I'd work in a corporate setting, and so a business degree felt safe, to be honest. And so I ended up studying HR, and I did a double major, and I did psychology as well because I was really interested in it. And I still really like that combination. Like, I'm very grateful for that education. But over the years, I've really come to love the psychology and mental health world so much more. And so getting back into school to study something that I love and have passion towards, like every class and like everything I'm learning, as opposed to maybe your core courses, it's such a different experience. I also think coming back as a mature student when your priorities really are different is also a big win. Like when I was in my early 20s and late teens in university the first time around, like all I wanted to do was socialize. I just wanted to go to the bars. I wanted to hang out with people. I wanted to have fun. Yes, I wanted to study and I did well in school, but I think this time around, my priorities are so much more focused on like the quality of education, making the time and space to do the readings, the projects, the group work correctly and not at the last minute or cramming. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have a lot of great study habits back in the day. And now I do. I'm a lot more thoughtful, I'm a lot more organized. And so I'm really grateful to be able to get back into the academic space with this kind of more mature lens, with my more developed learning and kind of sense of knowing that this is really important to me and doing it because I love it and not, getting through it because I thought I needed to in order to get a job or find success. I honestly wish the norm was like you went to university maybe when you were like 25 and after high school people either like worked for a few years, they tried a bunch of stuff, maybe they traveled, but like tested a bunch of things out and then went to school after they had a better idea of like what they want and what they like. Cause I feel like sometimes it's too early to know. And you might end up going down a path or a direction that isn't really aligned and isn't really based off of any experience of what you know yourself to be interested in. So anyway, that's just my opinion on that. But I'm happy to be back. Even though I feel very like I feel very mature, definitely because there's some people in the program who are like fresh out of their undergrad. And so my lesson that I've learned from going back to school is that you are never too old to start again. And I don't even think I'm old, but really starting again, starting over, changing directions. This time is going to pass anyway. Where do you want to be? Being older and more mature can be an advantage because wisdom comes with age and you probably know yourself a lot better and would have a totally different approach to what you're doing if you did decide to change directions or change careers or do something new. And sometimes I think a change in direction can feel like we're going backwards. But if you're already going in a direction you don't like, you're actually going backwards right now. Okay? And so you're going backwards from where you want to be. And so the change in direction is you turning around and going the right way. And so I encourage you to think about that. Some of my highlights from this year are, of course, having my baby, goes without saying. I got to go to the Eras tour, which was like literally life-changing and amazing. We kind of got our home into a really nice place that I think will be great for our son as he continues to grow. And just there's been a lot of great moments that I think I'm really grateful for in 2024, but it is like a totally different life that I'm leading now from even just 1 year before. Like I was in a condo in downtown Toronto. I was, seeing friends very often, like down at the bars and restaurants. And I was just living with my husband. We didn't have a baby yet. And like the lifestyle change is crazy. Like it's new, but it's so exciting and wonderful and fun in different ways. And there's definitely a lot of adjustments. But if you're someone who is on the precipice of like something life changing like that, or thinking about babies or whatever, know that because it's different doesn't make it bad different. Or because you like where you are now, don't make it automatically think that you will like something else less. Thinking back on our conversation with Steph Curry earlier this year, it's like you have to be open to change and open to newness. And I think that's something that with these, big milestones and changes in life as we approach our like 30s and 40s, there's a lot of embracing newness and the unknown. And so the more you can do that, the more you'll thrive, honestly. I think it's so great to think back on wins and milestones and successes, like no matter how big or how small. Like I think being able to celebrate at the end of each year how far you've come, what you've done, the type of person you've, maybe evolved into bit by bit, little by little. Like don't sleep on that. Like don't just immediately go to thinking of next year and thinking about your next goals. Like really take a minute in the next few days or as you listen to this to really think about all the cool, great moments you had this year. And there may be a few, there might be a ton. They might be mixed in with some really hard moments as well. But like take the time to really celebrate and be grateful for those great moments that you had before, we get into our mindset of like, go, 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 goals, 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 achieve, achieve, achieve. It's January, take the rest of December and just be like, I slayed. I really want to get a planner this year. Instagram is marketing me these like 2025 planners, and I really do think I should just get one because I really want to get a little bit more thoughtful about like tracking and organizing. But going into 2025, my friends and I, we pick a word at the beginning of every year that we think will encapsulate like our year, or what we want or what we want to see. And so I guess like to give you an example, like my word last year was like rebirth or birth, because like I knew I was like completely changing everything about my life and I was having a child. And so it felt like correct. But I'll tell you my word for this year and something else that I've been thinking about as well. But the word for me this year is going to be thoughtfulness. And what I mean by thoughtful is thoughtful about my time, my care for myself and my family, my friends, making things special, like, calling and checking in and sending cards or flowers. Like, I just want to be really thoughtful and not feel like things are last minute or unplanned or I didn't think of something. Like, I just really want to celebrate wins for others and myself and be really considerate about the way that I go about doing that. Some ways I might even be thoughtful towards myself would be like something silly, but like putting on sunscreen every day to make sure I'm like taking care of my skin or getting outside and moving my body every week. I think sometimes I've definitely had New Year's in the past where I pick this like huge, probably unattainable for where I'm at the moment kind of goal. And then I'm disappointed when it doesn't happen. Or I say like, I'm gonna work out every single day. And it's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Like you can move your body maybe a little bit, but like to have this idea that you're gonna go to Barry's Monday to Friday for the entire year is probably a little bit unrealistic. And so I've been really kind of scaling down my goals, which is not a bad thing because they build momentum and you can keep moving forward and like keep seeing wins for yourself and they kind of grow and continue on from there. And so, yeah, like thoughtfulness, a general guideline is kind of how I approach things now as opposed to these like very strict rules and schedules that I used to do for myself that never made me feel super good and, never really garnered the results that I wanted. So yeah, maybe think of a word that you just want to integrate into your being and your sense of self a little bit more. The second thing that I want to think about a lot more is kind of a question or like a mantra for myself that I want to use when I'm feeling down or like if you're ever into like doom scrolling and then you're like comparing yourself to someone, you're like, oh my God, that looks so beautiful. And you get all like kind of icky after social media. Sometimes I feel that way. My new mantra is, do you actually want that or does it just look perfect? So, do you want that or does it look perfect? And what I mean by that is someone can take a picture of something beautiful in their life, where they are, what they're celebrating, what they're doing, success that they have, anything. And I want you to just stop and ask yourself if you start to feel down, do you actually want that life? Like, do you want to live where they live? Do you want the job that they have? Do you want like those things? Or have they just done like a beautiful job of highlighting and showing you something beautiful in that world that you can appreciate, but actually isn't for you? So, like, an example I'll give is like, there's people who maybe like live in different cities or different places than I live and do a really good job of making it appear super magical and beautiful and awesome. But I know for a fact I don't wanna live there. Like, I do not wanna live there. And so I wanna stop myself from being like, "Oh," and maybe, like, romanticizing this idea of, like, someone having something that you don't, but, like, really check in and see, like it's like, do you really want that? Or, like, if they have, like, this successful job, it's like, do you really wanna do what they do? And if the answer is yes, great. I think, like, there's a lot of information in feelings of like envy or jealousy or whatever you want to call it, like, because that's a compass. Like, they have something that you want, and maybe it can help you realize, okay, how do I get closer to that if you do want that? But there are times when you just look at something and you feel that, like, you almost feel that immediately. But if you check in a little deeper, you go, actually, I don't want that. And I can appreciate that that looks beautiful and that looks perfect for them. But I'm happier doing what I'm doing, or I'm happier with what I have. And so I think that'll really help recenter me when, I'm looking at someone doing something and thinking it's amazing. And it could also just not be for me. And we can just like celebrate the differences and amazing things that are happening for other people without making it impact us in any type of way other than just like, wow, great for them. So to recap, thoughtfulness, being really aligned and real and checking in with yourself about that. I also make a vision board every Christmas break. Say whatever you want about manifestation. If you think it's woo woo, totally your prerogative. I love making a vision board for the year. And I really want a manifestation coach to come on the podcast. Actually, I would love to talk to somebody in that space. If you know of someone or you follow someone on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, please send them my way because I'd really, really love to chat with someone about manifestation. But how I do it, I think some people can do it like digitally, but I literally get out like a poster board and I buy a bunch of magazines and I print out a bunch of stuff from the internet and I like write in markers and I make a really big poster that I put right on my wall, like in my bedroom. And it does not go with the aesthetic at all. It is not beautiful. Like it is messy and loud and bright and it's right staring in my face every day. And that's the way I want it. And that's the only way for me I feel like I actually look at it and think about it consistently. But I'm telling you, I've done it for the last 2 years, and like almost everything I put on there ends up becoming a reality. And that sounds crazy, but like things that I didn't even think could happen happened that I put on my vision board. And like whatever the universe is doing, or whether you call it coincidence or luck, I really believe in doing it. And I think it's just like even a fun exercise to think about what you want for the year or what you want that year to look like. And so it's a fun day, but it also, I have found to be something that really keeps me on track and makes things happen. So vision boarding definitely on the horizon for me in the next week or so to prepare for 2025. And maybe I'll tell you guys what I put on my vision board when I do it. So, yeah, when we think about 2025, I hope you think of a word that you want to ingrain into your world. I hope you start that thing that's coming to your mind right now when I'm telling you to start that thing. I hope you are not afraid to be bad at something when you are learning how to do it. I hope you have time to spend with friends or family or people that are close to you. I hope you find movement that you enjoy and you move your body in beautiful, healthy ways this year. I hope you stay hydrated. I hope you laugh a lot, no matter how. I just hope you laugh because I think laughing is like the elixir of youth and life. So I really hope there's lots of laughter in your 2025. And I just want to end again by saying to anyone out there who is listening or has listened to the show, thank you so much. I'm still growing and learning and feel like I want to accomplish so much more. And I think, you could look at the show or my Instagram and be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. But truly, like, if you were to put, 300 people in a room and got up on stage and interviewed someone, that'd be pretty cool. Like, I think the internet makes us so disassociated from like the actual numbers of like what a person who's watching something is. Like, 10,000 sounds small, but like 10,000 people is so many people. 500 people is a lot of people. And so I'm just so grateful that anyone is listening, to be honest, and has cared enough to listen to an episode or share it with a friend. Like, truly, I know it might seem small, but to me, it's a huge deal and it feels big and exciting that I've been able to put something out there in the world with my voice and my name and my mark on it that can exist for years to come, or my kids can listen to it one day, or maybe it'll, grow and continue to evolve into something bigger and better. And that's what I hope for. But I'm really even just happy with where it is today. And that is because of you all listening. So thank you so much. I really can't wait to look back next year in December of 2025 and kind of see where everything is. But if you do love the show, please spread the word, share with your friends, follow on Spotify, Apple, Instagram, wherever you listen and see content. And for you, what are you going to do this year? When you're looking back on the year of 2025, what do you want to say happened? What do you want to say you did? And so when you think about it that way, maybe it's you want to see your friends more often, or do more self-care, or pick up an instrument, or make art, or start a new venture, or become TikTok famous, like whatever it is, big or small, you got to start, and you need to start soon, today, this week, this year. Like, let's go. If you needed a sign, if you needed to hear that, if you needed someone to say, you've got this and don't worry, and even if you stumble, it'll be fine and you'll be better for it and you will learn from it, hear me say that to you. I think I said it earlier, but really, like, New Year's is this like collective reset. It is the perfect time to feel inspired and feel the momentum and just like get after it. And so I hope you do. Merry Christmas if you celebrate. Happy New Year's, you guys. Happy end of 2024. So excited and pumped for 2025. I love you guys so much. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you in the new year.